Hi, I'm Jae-hoon, Data and AI Specialist for Gaming in Korea. In today's session, I will share some real case studies and detail of how we can help gaming customers with Azure Data Services. Let me introduce key data services in Azure, which can be used in platform to run game services first. For operational database, we have three major database services in Azure. First one is Azure SQL Database. In Korea, SQL is very popular and being used widely in gaming industry, especially for big MMORPG games launched in the last 3 years. Most of them use SQL. Azure SQL Database can provide high performance using local NVMe disk and high availability with needs for 9 of SLA. If no SQL database needed, we can use Azure Cosmos DB. It provides several APIs, including SQL, Mongo, Cassandra, and Gremlin. It is also very suitable for gaming services globally with one database, as it supports multi-write region and fast replication between regions. Cosmos DB is the only database service which provides SLA in performance across cloud vendors like AWS and GCP. Azure also has database services for open source databases like MySQL, PostgreSQL, and MariaDB. As gaming companies are very dev-friendly and tech-centric, they usually love open sources. And Microsoft also loves open source. So we provide fully managed database services with 100% of compatibility with community version of open source database. Next is data analytics. In gaming, analytics is very important as we need to learn from gamers' behavior to enhance quality of contents and game services served. To store and explore game logs, Azure Data Explorer, as known as ADX, can be used. ADX is developed by Microsoft and used to store and explore logs from Azure internally. With it, we can parse unstructured and semi-structured log data like JSON with ease and fast. If you need to archive data according to lifecycle management, then we can export and store data to Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2. To find out more insight from data, we can use Azure Databricks or machine learning to build a machine learning model for it. In nervous scenario like a gaming user analysis object detection, we can use machine learning model. With MLOps integrated with Azure DevOps, we can integrate machine learning with LiveOps and automate retraining and deployment of machine learning model. Lastly, with Synapse, we can have integrated experience of all analytical process. Using these services, we build a strategy to drive Azure in gaming and make reference. First step was focusing on launching game on Azure. In this step, building a referential architecture for massive scale game service was key things to be done. So in some big game companies, we've gone through load test with a real gaming workload and successfully built proper one. Yep, I'm gonna show it in next slide. Even though we proved that Azure has strengths in cost and performance and availability, especially for Windows SQL, it was not easy to use Azure in game services. There was a big gap in operational model between Azure and game services. And due to that, gaming companies experienced several issues caused by maintenance of Azure. To avoid those availability issues, we have deep discussion with the engineering group of Azure and co-work with them to meet requirements of gaming services. Enabling customized maintenance window on some services is one of the result of those efforts. Once we remove that gap, we also keep building more optimized referential architecture with diverse services, including Azure Database for MySQL, ADX, and so on. So let's see some more details of what we have done in step 1. This one is a data tier referential architecture with Azure SQL Database, which is used in Powershell. You can find details in website, this one, as it is public, it just published publicly. Through this shard architecture, we could hold up to 500K queries per sec in peak time with 1 gigabyte per sec transition log generated. To show the performance, we leveraged in-memory technology in Azure SQL database. With in-memory OLTP, we can avoid wait and latch for better performance. With in-memory column store, we can get over 10x data compression for game logs and high performance in aggregation queries. Additionally, we also used reader scale for load balancing purpose. You can use reader scale with enabling it in Portal or with Powershell. Once enabled, just adding application intent in connection string is the only thing needed to use reader scale for read-only workload. In several cases, we built game log database with RDBMs like Azure SQL database. But considering importance and characteristics of logs, RDBMs is not cost-effective and flexible way to store logs. So we keep finding better solution for log DBs and found ADX could be a suitable one. In recently launched game, we built architecture to store and process game log with ADX as below. First, we recommended to store log with JSON, as it has flexibility in adding more elements according to changes in business model. Once it's generated in game servers and uploaded to Azure Blob Storage with a 5-minute batch job, logs automatically ingested into ADX cluster. We use some features like update policy and function to categorize logs after ingestion and exploit. In ADX, we can also define hot and cold data according to date log ingested. So we have 1 month data as hot data for high performance and another 2 months data as cold data. For logs older than 3 months, we continuously export it to Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2 for archiving purpose. Once archived, we can use external table to exploit if needed. Okay, let's see some more details about how we handle log through demo. We have some sample log data in here, all log source table. Let's see some data. Yeah, it is a JSON format and hold elements like a log type, CCU, timestamp, etc. in one column named full. The size of demo is not so big. It's just about 1 million of logs. Let's see how we can handle this JSON data with ease in ADX. In ADX, you can use crystal query language to explore data. If you're not so familiar with this one, then you can also use SQL queries. Just adding explain on it, you can get KQL from SQL queries. You can do filtering the JSON sub elements with ease like this sample. So just column name dot element name can be work like a column. You can do join, filtering, and other diverse actions with JSON. And if you want to add new column using JSON sub element, then just use extend. Now you can see there are new columns with a JSON sub element. Once column made, you can use aggregation queries like sum, count, and etc. with these columns. In this query, you can find out sum of CCU for every day in every world. Let's see the result. Yeah, this one. And if you want to visualize the result, then render operator can be very helpful. Yeah, instantly you can visualize all the results. And if you are not so familiar with the KQL queries, then you can make a function and use that. Users can use it like a table. I already made some functions, 5 functions, and the contents is like this one. So I just define the functions, create the function, and use it like a table. Next, I will show you how we can use ingestion and processing of log in ADX. As sample data has following log types, like this one. We just start from 10K to 50K. I made 6 more tables as follows. First one is all log, and the others are start from log 10K to log 50K. Initially, log will be ingested all log table, and after that, distributed to 5 tables according to log type. I just made 5 functions to filter and distribute data according to log type, and just made update policy in 5 tables using these functions. Okay, so let's insert some data from all log source to all log table and find out if it works well or not. It will take about 20 seconds, and after that, it just will ingest all log to the all the data to the all logs, and after that, it will automatically distribute data to a log. Let's see the result in a few seconds. Yep, it's done. So you can see that all log has 1.1 million rows, and after that, it just distributes according to log type, like this one. You can find the result by selecting those columns. And if you need to manage the lifecycle of data and archive all data, we can use make continuous export job to send it to data lake storage gen tool like this one. And the last scenario is how we can use ADX with different dev languages like C#, PowerShell, and etc. I have some samples, PowerShell like this one. Yeah, ADX for NuGet package in website, and you can download it very easy. So once it's downloaded, you can use it in PowerShell and .NET and several languages. In this PowerShell, I just try to connect my cluster in my database and just try to some queries like this one. Let's see how we can use and see the result. Yeah, as you see, we can get the result from ADX and just make it as some kind of data object. So as ADX supports several languages like this one, you can use it with very ease. This is all for demo. Let's get back to this slide. Through step 1, we built caseable launching game on Azure successfully. As the next step, we began to focus on use and analyze of data. Let's check out how data can be used according to gaming lifecycle path. In general, at the beginning of project, as there is no data yet, data from similar games can be used as a reference. With that, developers can define schema of each tables and specification of gaming logs. Once launched, we can use data in many analytical purposes. KPIs are key metric where we can find game goes on well or not. DAU and NRU and other things are very well-known KPIs in gaming. We can calculate this using the logs in game. In analytics, we have many scenarios. First one is user analytics. To make game more successful, we need to analyze users' behavior. So using game log, we can define group of gamers with a similar characteristic key gamers who spend a lot of money, gamers who will leave games soon or not in that scenario. After that, we can use this data in marketing to get better results. Next one is analysis on game service itself. As you know, how fast we can fix bugs and errors, especially in launch period, is key of success in gaming. But with too much data generated, it is very hard for developers to explore service logs and handle issues. So having solution to explore service log with ease can be a good scenario for analytics. Last one we can think of is machine learning for playing patterns and predictions. With machine learning, we can get help. Maintaining balance in game content. Also, we saw a case that machine learning model can be used to predict next action to get better rendering in physical engine. To analyze data and use it in diverse scenarios, we built some standard architecture analytical platform in game. Of course, it can be changed as new services and technologies comes out, but I think we can start it from here and change it. ADX can be used for storing and exploring logs. And Azure Synapse Analytics Spark Pool can be used for ETL and advanced analytics. For just advanced analytics purpose, then Azure Machine Learning can be used also. And we can use Azure Synapse Analytics SQL Pool as data mart. We can also have integrated experience of all analytical processes with Synapse Studio. Let's find out how we can use it in customer case study then. First one is about big gaming companies with famous MMORPG game globally. Key benefit of a customer was storing vast security log with very low price and explore it with ease using sample queries. They launched game across diverse platforms in several regions. As they have experienced severe attack, they want to detect detailed loot and cause any security issue. At first, they use ELK as a theme, which means the security information and event management system. But it's way too expensive to store logs in a long term. So they tested Azure Sentinel. But as Sentinel can support over 1 minute frequency, it's not suitable for them. To meet customer needs, we propose two things. Use ELK for short-term real-time data analysis, which means under 1 month. We move data from log analytics to ADX for long-term data store. To explore and analysis data, we refer hunting queries about Azure Sentinel as we use ADX also. You can find key product and technical requirements and details in here. As a next step, we are ingesting game logs also to explore it. Next case came from gaming company famous for FPS title. They also launched new title in last year using Azure. Key benefit of customer was finding issues in game services first and enhancing overall game quality by fixing it. When they launched the game, it is almost impossible to find out issues using game service log as there are too many files and data. They tried the table storage at first, but performance was terrible. Furthermore, as schema logs cannot be fixed, they need some solution which can handle unstructured data with ease. So they tested ADX after launch and used it at once, replacing table storage. In ingestion, we used Powershell to ingest data from blob storage to ADX. The reason why we use Powershell is we need to retrieve server name by parsing file names and directory names and insert that value also in ADX during ingestion time. Third one is a gaming company which is popular in APAC countries. As they began to publish its own title by themselves recently, they need to build common service platform and launch new games on it. With ADX, now they are storing more than 1 billion rows per day in new log DB and explore JSON data with very ease. Comparing early VMS, they cut more than 50% of cost with fast query performance. They use Data Factory to build ETL and aggregation pipeline for daily batch. And with continuous export feature of ADX, they archive all the logs more than 1 month to data extraction to cut the cost. And for key KPIs, they use Power BI for visualization. As a next step, we just finished the advanced analytics pilot to detect abusers in-game market. With buying logs, we built a machine learning model to identify abusers using Azure Machine Learning. After we built model and deployed, we integrate it to a LiveOps platform to help operators with the first filtering of the abusers. As pattern can be changed after game goes on, we need to retrain model with new log data and deploy it. So Azure DevOps can be used for MLOps also and automated overall process. They also have interested in AI. So with experimental purpose, we built a bot with both services and Q&A maker to reply users' FAQ automatically in community. We can extend the usage of a bot with diverse scenario like in-game translation and FAQ and etc. The last one is company who runs gambling game. This case is a referential one in migrating old infrastructure from on-prem to Azure. In migration, they actively use the PaaS service to minimize operational effort. So at first step, they just migrate all Hadoop and Spark Echo to HD Insight and Data Mart to Azure SQL Data Warehouse. After that, they adopt Azure Databricks to gain more flexible and cost-efficient Spark environment, and ADX for real-time data analytics and exploration. For real-time data ingestion, they use Event Hub. And to use Azure Databricks more proactively, we have discussed with them about advanced analytics scenario also. So we just finished advanced analytics pilot for user segmentation and marketing analysis recently. We fully leverage our existing analytical platform to build machine learning model. In user segmentation, we consider the in-game factors like item purchase and time, and other factors like region and devices. For in-game factors, we build RFM, which means recency, frequency, and monitoring model, which is very popular in marketing analysis. After defining each user segmentation, we also propose some recommended marketing actions not to make users leave game. So yeah, that is all for my session. And thanks for the time. Thank you.